back to another update and a new episode of how I screwed this up. No, I think I'm gonna rename my channel to how I screwed this up versus contain this. So probably what you've been kind of watching, some of the high speed, quick lapses or whatever they call them. You've been wondering probably what I'm doing. So in the last episode, we dug the ditches and we started to prepare for the concrete slabs that I'm putting in, right? The 4x4x6 concrete pedestals, okay? And so we're gonna do a cold fill, a wet fill, where we put the concrete down into the sonotubes and then let it flow into the thing, instead of a cold set where you do first the pedestal and then you later on, after the pedestal dries, you put the sonotube. We're not doing it that way. I don't want a cold set. I want a nice fluid set. So one of the things you have to do is you have to build yourself one of these handy dandy towers, I guess you would call it. So it's got to come up through the slab of the concrete, the pedestal, and it's got to go inside the sonotube. So in some of the time lapse, man, I fought these ties to tie these things. Whoever invented the quick ties where you have a little, I don't have one sitting here. I forgot to bring it to you, but I'll show you in another episode, another update. There's going to be multiple updates on this thing. So anyway, the ties come around with the little circle, and then you spin the thing. Those things are miserable. Hey, the guy that invented that, get out of town, man. You suck. That's the worst kind of tie to tie these rebars in the world. I hope. Yeah, it reminds me of that movie. You know that movie, The Idiot, or the whatever, the guy, I can't even remember the comic's name, where he invented those glasses, and it had a little thumb thing in there, and he made millions and millions of dollars, and he's running around, he's famous and everything, he's got fancy cars and stuff. I can't think of it. It's not Dumb and Dumber, it's like Mr. Idiot, or Hello, I can't remember the name of the thing. But then all of a sudden, people got cross-eyed. They're all, oh no, my eyes are cross-eyed, and then he lost millions of dollars, right? Those inventions, this guy that built this tie thing, oh, he should be taken out and hit with a wet noodle. It's the worst thing in the. Okay, so a lot of you guys are probably watching through YouTubes and stuff how to build these towers for the sonotubes. Don't tie them. Come on, don't tie them. Learn how to tack weld these things. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you exactly why. Okay. So this is one that I tied. See how wobbly that thing is? I mean, it don't stand up. Okay. It's a piece of crap. I spent 8 hours trying to fix that. Now look at this. All I did was tack weld it. Takes a couple seconds to tack weld it. All right. Doggone thing stands up real nice. This one don't stand up. These are the little ties I was talking about. See the little stupid little ties? All right. Hey, watch this. See that one? Oh, I fall over, yeah, because I pushed it over. Take my advice. You're working with a metal box. You got metal. Just take the tie. I built, no kidding, I built 12 towers faster than I built 2 with the ties, that rebar. Okay, please. I know, there's going to be hate mail. People are going to say, you just don't know how to tie those things. Well, no. I know how to tie them. I think it's a waste of time. Go and tack weld them. You'll be happier. We'll see you in the next update. am so happy to be done with this task. I think of all the things that I have done in this build, I have to say, doing the rebar and the forms got to be the most tedious, miserable part of the job. I didn't really care for putting the windows and the door in either, but this is a bear. I didn't mind running the backhoe, but anyway, so let me give you a real quick update. On the last update, I said I was gonna, told you I didn't like those little ties. This is what those ties look like. Just like this, okay? And then you have this little twirly thing. You bend it, and you stick it in there like this, and you twist it, and it goes. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, I hate these things, to tell you the truth. However, when it comes to doing the rebar, the flat bar on the bottom, the base, it works pretty good. But when it comes to those towers, the rebar towers for the sonotubes, don't go weld them. Do it, because I made 5 of these things out of these little wires, and there's a couple problems with these wires. They're too thin, and so they stretch and they break. And so when you're moving around, they tend to stretch and break, and they lose. The more you mess with them, the looser they get. It's miserable. So, you know, use these. You know, amateurs use this, so I'm an amateur. So there you go. So use it to tie, but when it comes to building towers, weld them. You'll be happier, it's faster, and it sets up. So what's the next thing we got? We're going to be putting the sonotubes together. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2, if you'll notice in one of the time lapse, a buddy of mine came over and we used his laser leveler dealio, and so that corner up there is our 0 point. So whatever the height that was, everything comes off of that. So we're basically from that. Remember the I don't know if you can figure out the layout, but the containers would be going this way. So like this. Okay. So basically what's going to happen is there'll be 3 containers going this direction. Side by side. So we're probably standing on the front door going into it. But anyway, so I think it's about 2 from that corner to this corner here, diagonal corner, here to this diagonal corner here is basically 2 feet and 3/4. I think we thought it was 2, and so that sonotube there is going to be 4 feet, okay, and then this one over here is going to be like 6 feet and some inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-cut all the sonotubes and then put 2x4s, attachment to 2x4s, and then take the 2x4s and screw them in on the top. And then I don't know, I might put, it depends on the concrete truck's probably 2 to 3 weeks out. So what I did too, I don't know if you noticed this, but I smoothed this out right here. I had some piles of dirt right here, so I had to smooth that out so the concrete truck can come up here. And as an idiot, I put dirt in the middle of the construction site. Who does that? Only, you know, DIY geniuses, right? So anyway, so hopefully by the end of January, we'll have all these pillars up. And then I'll run some string. I've already ran string between all the point of contact, center points and stuff. So I'll run some more string where the edges of the sonotubes will go. So, but I can't get too ahead of myself on the sonotubes because I got to wait for the cement truck because it's been raining a lot lately. So what's going to happen is the sonotubes will go to crap. I either got to put a condom on those things or a trash bag or something on them, or just wait. But anyway, so there you go. That's the next update. So keep posted. Next update is hopefully we'll get concrete in this thing, and then and the end of the episode, and then we'll go and get a crane and pick that container up and put it over there, and we'll be good to go. Anyway, good day. Hey y'all, welcome to Texas and how I screwed this up. Anyway, hey, I just wanted to give a real quick update on, see if you guys, if I had any questions or you had any questions that you want answered just before I get questions, how I did these forms. So basically what you see is 4 by 4 by 6 inches, okay? And I put in some 1/2 inch rebar down there. They're not on any kind of blocks right now. That's next. So there's where I attached the rebar going up the sonotube. So what I did was I ran a 2x4 across. As you can see, two 2x4s. But if you look right there, I put a little flange, I screwed it in back there, so that way I can set the sonotube on a little shelf, little tab right there. I did it on both sides. You can kind of see how the sonotube is sitting on that little tab. And then I obviously screwed these to the form, and I screwed the sonotube here, and of course attached that there and ran a sonotube there. We're getting pretty good amount of wind, so the screw job that I did down here seems to be holding really well. It's pretty firm. I'm not against putting another couple 2x4s across here to firm this base up. So basically the idea is we're gonna pour the concrete down into the tube and then let it drain it down in here, and then of course fill this up. So basically you can see there's four tubes there, or 4 bases, 4 bases and 4 bases. So we have 12 bases. Of course, I wrapped this sonotube because the concrete truck's about 2 weeks out, and we've been getting some weather, some little drizzle here and there. So you'll notice that I didn't really make these forms super straight, and I did not make them level because there's no need to. You don't have to spend hours and hours making sure this form is the same, latitude or longitude. The only thing you really need is to make sure these sonotubes are in the same latitude and longitude, or X versus Y dimension, and they are. You as you can see, I've got a string running. It's hard to see with the bags, but they're all straight, here. And then of course, when I did the right angle right here, I checked my right angle 2 different ways. I did a 3, 4, 5. So you measure 3 foot here on the string, and 3 foot on this, no, 4 foot on this string, and then it should be 5 foot across here. So I did it that way, but I also got on Google, and also there's a construction app called Master Construction or something like that. Anyway, you can plug in your 24 feet, because I'll have 3 containers, which is 24 feet, by 40 feet, 48 feet, I don't know, 40 feet across. And then I knew what that measurement was. I knew what that measurement was. Now the calculator figured out what the diagonal was. So from that tube is like 146 3/4 roughly. I got it written down over here, but it gave me in decimal points. I had to somehow convert the decimal points. So anyway, inches, that was 146 inches. I think it's 146 and a quarter, 3/4 inches. So I was with that one there. I'm within 3/4 of an inch on the squareness, and this one here I'm within a 1/2 inch of squareness, and I got 12 inches of sonotube on top. So I don't really care if it's off 3/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch. You know, it's not going to be that much big deal. Okay, so and then as you know, I went ahead and put a lot of folks on their builds, they put 4 corners, right? They have 4 sonotubes on the 4 corners, and then they run 2 sonotubes. They run a sonotube here or a pillar here, and they run a pillar here, and they don't have this pillar. I'm going to be putting a 2-story up here, and it's going to be a 20-footer. And so when I span with the 20-footer coming across, that puts this right at 20 foot. So I have from the top story, I'm going to have the weight distributed on that pillar and that pillar and this pillar and this pillar. And the other way around is that the weight would be distributed on this pillar and this pillar. And you could do that, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'd rather have this support here take all the weight. And I'm hoping, I don't have an engineer, but you can see how sandy the sand is. And so I built this big platform for, you know what, 4 times 4 is 16, right? So 16 square feet of surface area. So that should be plenty of surface area to hold, I don't know, 6, we got, you know, you figure 16 feet by 12 pillars, and then you got each container weighs what, minimum 8,000 pounds. So you got what, 3 times 8, and then of course you got 2 on top. So anyway, I didn't do the math. I'm not going to here. I'm dyslexic. So there you go. That's kind of an update of what I'm doing. We're pretty much done here. I'm going to put some blocks. I'm going to set these reset these rebar on new. I got some really cool, over here in that bag, I got some real cool chairs I'm going to put on there. So that's all I got to do is put the chairs in, and we're ready for concrete.